Deep Silver is warning players of unauthorized third-party parties selling Steam keys from Metro Exodus after some were obtained illegally from the factory where physical key printing had taken place. This is pretty interesting, since legal key selling is usually associated with transactions carried out online. It could also be in response to Deep Silver's deal with the Picto, exclusively on the PC version, a Metro Exodus and the Epic Game Store, as the developer said the keys were obtained prior to the deal, as explained on that Metro Exodus discussion board on Steam. The only supported key sellers for the game are Humble Bundle and the Razer Store. Due to the criminal nature of these keys, all unlicensed keys have been deactivated, and Activision download of Metro Exodus without the executable file is no longer possible. The post continues. In addition, the software will be removed from the Steam library of any players using an unauthorized code. The keys being sold on this platform are stolen goods and are therefore illegal. The developers are encouraging players who have been affected to contact the seller who sold them unlicensed key and demand a refund. The Razer Game Store is closing down after just 10 months and will cease operations on February 28. The digital storefront was opened by Razer in April 2018 and sold keys for existing platforms like Steam and Play. The marketplace also offered exclusive Razer discounts and Razer Silver rewards that could be redeemed against other games and peripherals. Razer did not specify exactly why it has decided to turn its back on the storefront, simply explaining the decision is part of its wider realignment plans. All games purchased through the Razer Game Store will still work after the closure, while pre-orders will also be fulfilled. What's more, all Razer Silver earned through Game Store purchases will still be valid and can be used to redeem rewards after the store has shut down. You can find out more about the closure by checking out the Razer Game Store FAQ. Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford is being accused by former general counsel of the studio for receiving a secret $12 million bonus from publisher Take-Two Interactive. This legal dispute comes shortly after Gearbox sued his former counsel, Wade Callender, back in December 2018 for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. Callender filed his suit against the studio in response, and both men seem to be suing each other over allegedly violating their legal duties to the company. As reported by Kotaku, Pitchford received the $12 million in secret as an advance AGAMSTBORDARLANDSPROFITS, to which Gearbox has claimed is absurd. According to the lawsuit filed by Gearbox, the studio alleged that Callender, who worked at the company from 2010 until 2018, borrowed money for a home loan and tuition, neither of which were paid back in full. The studio also claims Callender destroyed evidence of the home loan agreement. In addition, Callender reportedly abused the privilege of credit card access by charging unapproved, wholly personal expenses, including family vacations, gun club memberships, and firearms accessories. In December 2018, Callender sued Gearbox and Randy Pitchford, accusing Pitchford of violating various contracts involving both Gearbox and a separate real estate company that they both owned, as well as Callender's own employment contract. The lawsuit against Gearbox alleges that Pitchford struck a deal in 2016 to receive a personal, secretive, executive bonus of $12,000 to be paid directly to Pitchford entity called Pitchford Entertainment Media Magic, LLC. Callender and his lawyers argue that the bonus was an advance upon royalties that would otherwise go to Gearbox staff. This is particularly tragic exploitation, the lawsuit states, because these millions are being siphoned to Randy Pitchford's personal accounts instead of funding the development of Borderlands. The allegations made by a disgruntled former employee are absurd, with no basis in reality or law. A Gearbox spokesperson said Toku will look forward to addressing this meritless lawsuit in court, and have no further comment at this time. The full lawsuit from both Gearbox and Calendar can be viewed here. Sebastian SDPIE, the creative director of CD Projekt Red's upcoming game Cyberpunk 2077, is seemingly making the jump from the Polish studio to Blizzard Entertainment, as spotted by the Resetter user. SDPIE's LinkedIn account shows him as having started at Blizzard in January as a creative director on an unnamed project, though that same profile has not been updated to show when he left CD Projekt Red. SDPIE spent over 12 years at CD Projekt Red, working as a dialogue writer, lead story designer, creative director, and narrative film setting director throughout this time with the company. During that time, SDPIE had his hands in the creation of all 3 games in the Witcher series, including several enhanced edition releases, and, most recently, Cyberpunk 2077. When it comes to delivering unique multiplayer experiences, asymmetrical game design is one of the best, and also the worst. Figuring out how to create and balance games when nothing is meant to be balanced is a game design challenge. Most multiplayer games today are built on partial asymmetry between players. That means each player is operating from the same basic rules and gameplay elements, with some variations to spice things up. Fighting games, team-based shooters, and even MOBAs would be examples. Partial asymmetry allows the designer to balance the gameplay around a single gameplay loop and make tweaks accordingly. Working from a baseline like this allows the designer to think of ways of stretching the design to create the different characters, builds, etc. Full asymmetry is when you have players using completely different gameplay loops and playing against each other at the same time. In this regard, I can only think of a handful of games that went this route: Left 4 Dead, Natural Selection, Evolve, and Dead by Daylight. I am sure there are indie games out there, but I cannot remember any off the top of my head. Full asymmetric play provides a different experience for both groups. Typically, Group A has to do some kind of task, while Group B is attempting to stop them. In Natural Selection's case, both groups are trying to kill the other, but they have different gameplay elements to make use of. Both forms of asymmetry can create unique experiences that cannot be easily copied. However, the work that goes into making these titles feel balanced can be never-ending. There is a lot to unpack when we talk about asymmetrical gameplay, and I do not think we are going to get all of it in a single post. The biggest challenge is one that can throw a lot of developers for a loop. How do you balance choices that have no comparable elements? When you play a SIG that has different factions builds, each build purposely has choices and options unique to it. If I am playing Hearthstone, I do not expect the mage to start buffing cards like the paladin and vice versa. This is why so much work is done when it comes to balancing the status of unit cards and mana cost. Because they are universal across all factions, unique elements are different, as there is no one-to-one relation between options. From a design standpoint, is it more beneficial to teleport around on some minions? The problem with that question is that trying to answer it in a vacuum is impossible. This problem becomes more prevalent when we are talking about games with full asymmetrical play. Both Left 4 Dead and Dead by Daylight have two different gameplay loops going on at the same time. Changing the stats or dynamics of one group can be seen as making it less fun for the other. Ultimately, the answer to even trying to balance asymmetrical design comes down to the response that one group has over the other.